Hi guys, it's me, the ALE Double X Prince, back at it once again. And I was originally gonna come back and do my Royal Rumble predictions, but I just missed so much wrestling news, so many topics to talk about. I said I gotta talk about this. Wait! I gotta talk about this. And oh, what's this? I gotta talk about this. So I decided to just comment it on one big fat video for you guys, give you some predictions and an update as to like what's gonna happen following the Royal Rumble. Some of you might already know if you saw some of my previous videos, but yeah, I'm back for good. Let's start. So I'm gonna start off not with wrestling news, but with uh I'll be discussing the Royal Rumble, give you my predictions this year. So this year, honestly, I'm not that excited for the Royal Rumble. I'm really not. Like nothing in the card excites me other than the Rumble matches themselves. And even then, I'm just like, eh. But yeah, here's basically what the card looks like. We have Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg for the WWE Championship. Jesus Christ, this is proof that they have nobody left for uh Drew McIntyre to face. Like they haven't built up anybody. They just didn't try anymore. And I'm just like so disappointed. And I heard that recently Drew McIntyre just like came back from COVID-19. He just had it. Why didn't they just do this? Excuse me. If he was really sick, this is what I would have done. I would have him take a break, a legit break, because it was like, yo, he cannot be wrestling. Um, like if he just came back from COVID, he should not be coming back right away. Why didn't they just give him the night off, like for like when Goldberg was challenging Drew McIntyre? Um, the last time we saw Drew McIntyre, other than this Monday, was the Raw reunion where Drew McIntyre says like, "Yeah, you're too old to be wrestling me, Goldberg. You should not be wrestling me, and you're just like wrestling my dad." And then Goldberg pushes him. Why didn't they just and when Drew McIntyre was announced that he will not be able to compete, Goldberg announces like, okay, you know what, you disappointed me, Drew. You wouldn't accept my challenge, so I had to take it myself. So I'll enter into the Royal Rumble. That way, now it gets people a little bit more excited for the Royal Rumble because Goldberg is now entering the Royal Rumble. And then Drew McIntyre could take a break, but because he didn't defend his championship at the Royal Rumble, now he is forced to defend it at the Elimination Chamber, which I believe is the next pay-per-view. Um, yeah, and he's supposed to defend it against 5 mid-carders from Raw, which will develop everybody. Elimination Chambers tend to do that. They develop all of the up-and-coming stars as well as your main eventers. So that's what I would have done. But this Drew McIntyre Goldberg match, I'm not excited for. Goldberg wasn't around to be there. Drew McIntyre had to shoot his promos from home. It's just not exciting. And the thing that people are talking about the most is the Miz possibly cashing in. And I just would rather just get it out of the way, just do it. Cause I'm sick and tired of this. Like, oh, will he? Won't he? It's exciting sometimes. Now, recently, they haven't been as exciting, especially because like they just didn't do a good job of building the Miz. And John Morrison. Poor John Morrison. The man he's been in movies, he's been in TV shows. He was around like he was in a lot of TV shows, believe it or not. He was in Baby Daddy, he was on Glow. He did a I believe he did a Hercules movie, not the one starting The Rock, but a different one. Not that it was a good movie from what I hear, but John Morrison hasn't been in legit Hollywood movies. Why the fuck are they teasing like this guy like not as good? Like this guy deserves better, and because they're not gonna do shit about it, I would say fuck them. So yeah, I'm not excited for this. Drew McIntyre Goldberg is just lame. Asuka and Charlotte defend their tag team belts against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler again. Again, don't care. They're building up Lacey Evans versus Charlotte down the road. I would just rather do this match versus Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce, and then have Charlotte get pissed off, or where Asuka's like, "Yo, you cost us the belts," and then they argue, and then this leads to their match at WrestleMania. Because I know that's what they're heading for. They're gonna do Asuka versus Charlotte at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. It's just a given. This is what's gonna happen. So, um, there's that. My prediction: Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler will win back the belts. Even though I would rather much see Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce. Not that I like that tag team, but it's better than nothing. Then we're getting a last man standing match for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. A lot of people are super excited about this. I am not one of those people. Because I've already seen Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns plenty of times. I would have rather much seen Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns get this out of the way, and then do Roman Reigns versus either Big E or The Rock or something to that extent, or Shinsuke Nakamura. But yeah, Kevin Owens, I've seen this match plenty of times. We've even seen it at the Royal Rumble, if you guys remember. Royal Rumble 2017 is the one where Chris Jericho was hanging up on the shark, shark cage. So they clearly just do not know what to do. So they just put these guys over and over again. I'm tired of watching this match. My prediction: Roman Reigns, obviously, and then Kevin Owens will probably go back down the card and just prove once again that the creative is not as bright as people claim it to be. But now we move on to the Royal Rumble matches. Before I get to the Royal Rumble matches, I heard rumors that they might add another match, that being a Big E, Apollo Crews, and Sami Zayn in a triple threat match for the IC belt. That's honestly, if they do that, I would be super excited to watch that, because it could be a small, short, to the point match, which could easily lead to. You could do three things with that match. You could have Sami Zayn win and go back to his coward run and have a charismatic IC champion once again. You can have Apollo Crews redeem his storyline from and join the Brotherhood with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, or you can have Big E win and just keep him as a dominant champion. That match I would definitely be excited to watch at the Royal Rumble, because you have three guys that I like and three guys that would be a good fit for the IC belt. And especially with the storytelling, like those three guys themselves have done a great job. But now on to the Royal Rumble matches. I'll start with the men, even though I think this one will be the main event, not the women's. But I would um say that so here are the confirmed names: Daniel Bryan, Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Otis, The Miz, Jey Uso, Cesaro, Jeff Hardy, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, Shinsuke Nakamura, Big E, John Morrison, Sheamus, Mustafa Ali, Elias, and Edge returning once again at the Royal Rumble. I would have rather much seen Edge come out on Raw and say that he's back, instead of just in a video package. Like, show up, like actually show up on camera. It would be great, because that would have gotten people more excited. Like, hell, at Raw Reunion, Edge should have came back and say that he's coming back to the Royal Rumble, and then you could have someone just call him out that he's just gonna end up back in the hospital, something to that extent. But yeah, as far as who's gonna win, I have a couple of names in mind. Big E obviously is one of them. Keith Lee, even though he's not announced, I heard he might come back and fight. Hopefully he doesn't have COVID, because he hasn't been on TV for a while, so I don't know where he's been. Keith Lee would have been a good choice. Then we could do Roman Reigns and Keith Lee. Um, Trying to think. Cesaro has been a very popular choice, as well as Shinsuke Nakamura. Honestly, I think those guys are just building up just so they don't go to AEW, because, um, yeah, I like Cesaro and Nakamura, but I think they've just killed those guys. So I guess the safest bet is Daniel Bryan, and I am excited to watch Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. It sounds like a very good match. I am not gonna complain like a lot of people, but I will agree with this. Daniel Bryan has been booked like a fucking bitch recently. teaming up with Otis and Chad Gable, losing constantly to guys like Cesaro. I know that he's trying to push younger talent and up and comers, but this is not the way, Brian. I know you're behind creative. You should make yourself look stronger. You should make the rest of the talent look stronger. So, yeah, I don't get why Daniel Bryan is like booked like this, but there is this habit of people when the very first person who announces they're gonna enter themselves into the Royal Rumble ends up becoming the winner. 2012 it was Sheamus, 2013 it was John Cena, and now 2020 it could be, or 2021 I should say, it should be Daniel Bryan. I don't mind Daniel Bryan. That honestly sounds like the safest pick. There's also words that Randy Orton will probably get screwed over by Bray Wyatt in this match, which would be great to see, and that could probably lead to them at WrestleMania, which I'm okay with. I know some people might not. Edge, I get why people want to see Edge and Randy Orton the I Quit match, which makes sense, but I want to see Edge do something else. I'm tired of him facing Randy Orton. I want to see him face other people. I want to see him face guys like Seth Rollins, AJ Styles. Honestly, if you want to do Edge and AJ Styles, this would be the perfect night to build that match. Because honestly, that's the only match I could think of to do next for either of these two guys. Um, so yeah, I guess my safest bet is Daniel Bryan, but if I had a second option, honestly, it would be Big E. It just makes sense to do Big E. Sorry, I was just checking up on something, but Big E versus Roman Reigns, maybe title for title, that would be great. Anything. So yeah, what do you think? And I know we're not getting The Rock, so enough of those fantasies. Next up, the women's Royal Rumble match. This will be the last thing I'll talk about. But announced names are Charlotte, Nia Jax, Bianca Belair, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, uh, Peyton Royce, Alexa Bliss, Shayna Baszler, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, and Tamina. I don't get this feud that's going on right now with like Billie Kay wanting to join the Riot Squad. I don't know. It's weird. But fine, do something with these talents. But the main two names that stick out are Bayley and Bianca Belair. Personally, I like how they're building up Bianca Belair. Is she ready though? That is the big question. Um, so there's rumors that they're gonna do Sasha versus Bianca Belair, Sasha versus Bayley, or Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Um, Personally, if Charlotte didn't win last year, this would have been the perfect night to make her win. Um, yeah, but yeah, I can't think of anybody else other than Bianca Belair and Bayley. Either one would win, and I would be happy. Personally, I would have Bayley win, get the major heel heat, and then we could do Bianca Belair build up, kind of like Daniel Bryan. That would be a great story. If not, just culminate Sasha and Bayley, and then do Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks after um after WrestleMania. If not, if you want to do it right away, then Bianca Belair has to win at WrestleMania, because then they're gonna book her like Shinsuke Nakamura if she doesn't win at WrestleMania. So that's the only reason why I don't want Bianca to win, because she could easily pick herself back up if she doesn't compete at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Yeah, I would either do the triple threat match or Sasha versus Bayley. I do want to see Belair and Banks, but I don't know if they're there yet. Anyways, I'm mixed. I have mixed emotions going into the Royal Rumble. Nothing that I'm truly excited for. I heard fans are coming back, but even I don't believe they're ready for a crowd. Personally, I don't. Not just because of COVID, but because, trust me, they're gonna be in a big surprise when they find out how much uh, fans really care about the product right now. So those are my predictions to the Royal Rumble. But now let's move on to a bunch of wrestling news. And I might as well get this one out of the way, but let's talk about Joe Rogan, The Undertaker, and how Undertaker believes that the product is soft now, that the talent isn't like doing as good, that they're just focused on playing video games and doing all this crap, and they're not focused on like being the top talents. I wholeheartedly agree with all of that stuff he just said. What I did not agree with is how he believes that, like, back in the day, people used to like carry around with guns and like being violent and stuff like that. I don't think we have to take it that far, but I do believe that the talent needs to like step up their game and do what they can to, one, get talented over and over, and two, um do do the best you can to like make wrestling relevant again. Like, trust me, it hasn't been that relevant in years, and a lot of people hate to admit it. Like, even so, like with guys like Cody Rhodes going to the Go Big show, he's being part of that. Chris Jericho has Fozzy. Um, you have to go outside of the WWE bubble. If you guys saw my rebooking of the Fiend, I mentioned that the Fiend could appear at Jimmy Fallon and attack John Cena there, or he could show up at the Super Bowl, do stuff like that to get people excited. That way, people are like, "Oh shit, what the hell's going on over there? I haven't seen WWE in a while. Let's watch." And boom, you get some ratings, like something like that. And I wholeheartedly agree that why are the towns just focused on just being like buddy. They need tough people. They definitely need tough people. This is why Vince McMahon doesn't push talent, because he could easily just push them around and they're not gonna do shit about it. You gotta stop letting this old piece of shit do the thing he can. Like, no, I would go to Vince and say, "Hey, listen, bitch, you're an old fucking hag, and you need to get your shit together. Otherwise, I'm just walking out." And I'll even expose like what a shitty product, or like what a piece of shit you've been to me and all the talents. Like, fuck you, you fucking old fucking hag. And if I were in the WWE, oh my god, imagine the shit I would say to Bruce Pritchard. Like, that fucking retarded. Like, fuck Bruce Pritchard. Um, but yeah. So what I truly think about the Undertaker's comments, I think this is a way to get people going, "Oh shit, like maybe the Undertaker is right." That's another thing. Undertaker just gave you the biggest publicity ever. People follow Joe Rogan. People listen to Joe Rogan. It's one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. When people hear that, they're gonna be like, "Gosh, like, is it really that bad? Let's watch the product." And then now you get more eyes glued. And then I was like, "Okay, Undertaker just gave us all of this publicity. Let's actually prove him wrong." That's another thing. If you guys do not like what the Undertaker is telling you, prove him wrong. That's what Ronda Rousey did when Mia Khalifa talked shit about her. Remember that? Yeah, Mia Khalifa was like, "Oh, Ronda Rousey is gonna be a fucking failure in the WWE." Ronda Rousey said, "Fuck you. I'm gonna prove you wrong." And that is the mentality that people should go with, not just in wrestling, but in general. If someone's gonna tell you shit, prove them wrong. Prove them like you could do better than what they're being told. This is the honest truth. I'm gonna get personal. I applied to community college because I knew it was going to benefit me. It was going to be the best way for me to do it. However, there's this guy who I had so much respect for at the time, not anymore, who told me that he believes that I'm wasting my time going to community college, that that's just a waste, and that I don't have the balls to like go to better colleges. Keep in mind, this man went to Yale. He went to Yale. He's one of the smartest people in the world. He's right. Trust me, I should go to all of these better schools. But no, I chose to go to a community college because it was my choice. I'm not gonna shit out a bunch of money just to please one fucking person. No. And to top it off, I could easily call them a bitch and do all these things. But no, instead I said, I'm gonna go to community college, I'm gonna get my degree, and I'm gonna prove this guy wrong for what he said. And that is what I'm doing. And I'm proud of that mentality. And that is what kind of mentality these wrestlers like should be doing, not guys like Trent and Xavier Woods who are talking shit to the Undertaker. Fuck you, Undertaker. No, take that idea and prove the man wrong. Prove him that you guys are not fucking worthless. That's all he wanted to say. Like, and he wasn't calling out anybody. He was being as respectful as he could be. Ugh, some people. Ryback. Oh, remember this guy? Ryback. Feed me more. Skip Sheffield, the failure of the Nexus. Where do I begin? So, the man has been talking shit about how professional wrestling is being taken too serious and how you people are like not take are just fake and this and that. And he's been in a bit of a feud with Ryback. Not Ryback. Ryback. Mark Henry and Ryback have been like going off on different podcasts. But one of the biggest things I want to talk about is the possibility of him joining AEW. Now, recently I have noticed that if you have been watching wrestling between um, the early stages of the PG era, most of those guys have been going to AEW. Trent Beretta, obviously the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, Dean Ambrose, or John Moxley, I should say. Um, those guys have been recently been signed up. Recently, actually, Cameron from the Funkadactyls joined AEW briefly. Remember how awful that was? And now there's been talks of Ryback joining. Listen, Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes, you guys are new to this game of running your own business, and you guys have done a pretty solid job. Not recently. You still have like some things to work on. Recently, last episode of Dynamite wasn't that great. Not awful, but I know you could do better. But signing Ryback is a terrible idea. First of all, the man's a fucking asshole. He doesn't give a shit about the product other than a big paycheck. And more importantly, the guy injures a lot of people. He hurt CM Punk. He almost ended his career. I remember he was like so unsafe. Like I remember he used to throw people around and like they would land on their head, and he was just a super unsafe talent in the WWE. Now, when Ryback debuted, this was two he debuted in after WrestleMania 28. I was 13 years old. I was still at that young mentality, but I do remember like being a big fan of like the look of Ryback. He kind of looked like a anti-hero, but then like as you got older, you realize that the guy fucking sucked, not just as a wrestler, but as a human being. So trust me, you do not want to do it. It's kind of like when Impact signed Alberto Del Rio or Alberto El Patron, whatever the fuck you want to call him. And look at where he is now. He's in jail. Hopefully staying in jail. Like hopefully he doesn't get out. I heard he might get bailed out. I heard he is bailed out. I don't know. I can't keep up with that man's drama. But you do not want that in your product. Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes. Hell, I don't even think TNT wants that. The TNT network wants that. So please don't sign Ryback. And someone needs to tell this guy fuck off, because like the shit that he said, basically wrestling's fake. People take it too serious. The titles don't mean shit. Fuck you. Um, just the same way as your podcast, it don't mean shit. No one's listening to that shit. So fuck off, Ryback. WWE Backstage Returns. Um, So this Saturday, we're bringing back WWE Backstage with Renee Young and Paige and Booker T. We're still not sure whether or not CM Punk will appear on the show, but those three names have been confirmed, which is odd because I believe Paige is no longer in WWE after the whole Twitch war. Renee Young is pregnant and she's married to, you know, the former AEW World Champion John Moxley. So as long as this is strictly Fox, where the gloves are off, they can say whatever they want. Because the truth is, WWE Backstage for a good while was the best show watchable. And I'm not just saying this because this gave us the return of CM Punk, but it truly helped motivate the talent to like just be like, yeah, like I have really enjoyed, because right now WWE has no crowds, and this was the best way to like help out the talent such as Otis, King Corbin, Seth Rollins, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley. Like around WrestleMania season, WWE Backstage was doing the best work to help out people get excited for these matches in a tough time. And they could even get not controversial, but they talk about serious topics. I remember one of my favorite moments was CM Punk telling white people to shut up after the death of George Floyd. Um, so clearly, this show doesn't pull punches, and I hope it sticks around for a while. I hope it comes back full time, and I hope, for the love of God, that WWE does not take super much control of that. Please don't do that. Plus, they also don't have that much control for their WWE network. Kind of great way to move on to the next topic, but the WWE network is dead. It's shutting down, and they're moving all of their content to Peacock. Who would have known that the WWE network was gonna die soon? Now keep in mind, the WWE network is great. It has some good things to watch. It's enjoyable sometimes. But for the most part, the only thing I really watched on the WWE network was NXT, and I'll get to that in a second. Um, but now there's no reason to give a shit. The pay per views were not that great. They have good documentaries. The Last Ride is the last great one. Um, but yeah, I'm not that excited for the WWE network. If anything, I truly believe that the WWE network nearly could have killed the business in the sense of like becoming a streaming service and starting to, do stuff for, you know, just give out all of their shit for $10 or $9.99. Remember that? Um, Personally, what I would have done from the very beginning with the WWE network was um the big pay-per-views, those should have still been like on demand pay-per-views to pay for. And I know it's gonna piss off some people, but you just dropped the ball with when you made the network everything, like from WrestleMania. Like people stopped giving a shit about WrestleMania because it was pretty cheap, and I was like, I remember WrestleMania used to make big money. Now it doesn't because you had the network, and this could be said about everything. A lot of talk shows are dead because of streaming services, but now that they're connected with Peacock, I'm a little excited to see what they're doing. I hope to God they do not sugarcoat it. Like Peacock is very popular for taking off certain things, for being too violent or stuff like that, and that's the problem with society today. Everything's so cookie cutter, and yeah, a lot of people could be partially faulted for that, but what can you do? So rest in peace, WWE Network. I like to see what you guys do in Peacock. Not hating the idea. I haven't seen what they've done yet, so can't really stay mad at it. But yeah, I'm okay with them moving. I think they need this. They really do need this. But what they also need is some good products, some good shit, Vince. That's truly what they need out of all of this. NXT switching to Tuesdays or Thursdays, but they're no longer gonna be a part of Wednesday. Fucking finally. God damn it. What the hell took him so long? And I'm kinda glad that NXT was falling flat because one, it was going to shit. It's just not as good anymore. NXT fucking sucked last year. Like after WrestleMania, NXT was dead. Once they did Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano, that was the last like time I said to myself, "Damn, I'm pretty sure this is the end of the line for them." 'Cause what else are they gonna do? They had Charlotte, but then she got injured. They had Keith Lee, but then he got moved up. They had Matt Riddle, but then he moved up. And all they had left was Undisputed Era, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa. And what do they do? Those talents? Oh, they were talking shit to Randy Orton. They thought they were better than the main roster. They believed that they were gonna kill the ratings war. They got so fucking cocky that they almost went down. They're at 500 views. Like, not even Raw is that bad. They at least hit the thousands. These guys made it to 500 views. Jesus Christ, what the hell is wrong with these people? And they still had the balls to tell us that NXT is better than Raw and SmackDown. Fuck you. Um, so yeah, personally, with how the how Adam Cole, Ciampa, and Gargano, the way those guys have been acting recently, it made me just want to like stop watching. And that's the biggest problem with these talents. They gotta stop having these tough, like smart guy attitude, because those guys are the ones killing the business. Seth Rollins almost killed the business in 2019 when he started like talking a lot of smack about Will Ospreay and John Moxley. Like, who wants to see talents that think they're all that and they're not bringing any ratings? If Austin had Stone Cold Steve Austin had that attitude, okay, which he doesn't, but the guy brought in ratings. The guy killed. He was amazing at the time. I'm not saying that it would be right for him to be a smarky prick on the internet if he were a smarky prick on the internet, but at least he was bringing in ratings. What the hell are these guys doing? Exactly. So NXT really needs to revamp themselves. They need to go back to 1 hour if possible. They probably won't, but they at least need to switch a night. Get out of Wednesdays. Um, Start a Tuesday night war with Impact. Um, Whatever you have to do, but just get out of Wednesday. You are just ruining yourself. You guys are just not that good anymore. And you guys should have known this the second you guys moved to the USA Network. Such a disgrace. And I'll finally wrap up with my thoughts on the AEW and Impact deal. It's been a couple of weeks now, and so far I've loved what they've done with bringing in the Good Brothers, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega. Unfortunately, one of the Young Bucks is sick with COVID-19, so they're in quarantine. I hope those guys are doing good. I hope they're staying safe as possible. I hope everything is good for them. Um, Impact Wrestling could really use this. Obviously, they need a big help. Like, people were talking about doing an invasion storyline with Impact and AEW. I do not want to see that. That sounds terrible. But I am liking what they're doing, where they're bringing in talent from each show. Like, I know Private Party and Matt Hardy are in Impact right now, and I gotta say that is the best I've seen Matt Hardy in a while, and that makes me realize not everybody was meant for AEW. Just because you were a big name somewhere and else, this case the WWE, doesn't mean you just automatically go to AEW and become a big star. Look at Matt Hardy; he's been a fucking failure ever since he arrived to AEW. No offense, Miro. I can't stand Miro. Um, but Rusev was great. Too bad they didn't book him properly, but he was great. The only truly successful stars were from WWE to AEW were Cody Rhodes, John Moxley, Chris Jericho, um, and I can't think of anybody else. Maybe Pac. But yeah, but that's not the point. The point is that Impact is helping out some of the talent from AEW to help. And I started thinking, what if down the road they did a draft? Some guys go to Impact, some guys go to AEW. Uh, Imagine Tennille Dashwood on Impact. That would be Tennille Dashwood on Dynamite, I should say. That would be great. Honestly, if anything, the women's division in AEW needs a Tennille Dashwood. She's not amazing, but she's definitely a name that will help them out. Um, whether or not Thunder Rosa officially signs a contract with them, but she's easily the best part of the women's division in AEW. It used to be Britt Baker, but then we saw her wrestling skills and ugh. So yeah, Impact, I think, could take some talents from AEW, and AEW should take some talent from Impact. I would love to see some crossover promotion and do stuff like that. They're already doing it with NWA Wrestling, but I'm pretty sure NWA Wrestling is dead right now. And the reason why I'm saying NWA Wrestling is to not get them confused with Eazy, Ice Cube, and Dr. Dre, those guys. But yeah, that's truly how I feel about the whole Impact AEW crossover. I like it. Don't get cocky, guys. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm. That's all of my news and predictions for this upcoming week. My final update. I mentioned that I'll be starting a WrestleMania debates video. That will be a lot of fun to do. I cannot wait to talk to you guys about that. I will actually do. I'm thinking of doing an individual video. That way, I'll tell you the rules, what's gonna happen, give you some context of what to expect on those videos, as well as telling you what I'm going to be talking about each episode. So stay tuned for that. It's me, the ALE Double X Prince. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Till then, I'm out.